Hey guys, welcome back to Motion Recaps. Today we're going to summarize the last 3 episodes from Squid Game. This is the third part of a 3-part video series about Squid Game from our channel, so make sure to check out the previous parts if you haven't yet. And like always, watch out for heavy spoilers. In the last episode, Deok-soo's group slaughtered a lot of players during the night because they found out that killing is not against the rules. Gi-hun, Sang-woo, Ollie, Byuk-soo, and Il-nam form a plan and they manage to survive. Players played tug of war, and thanks to the Il-nam's help, they managed to win. Seo-byuk became a good friend with a girl named Ji-yeon. Jun-ho finds out that some of the staff members are harvesting organs from dead players. In the next game, players needed to choose their pairs. Gi-hun goes with Il-nam, Sang-woo with Ollie, Seo-byuk with Ji-yeon. Only Mineo doesn't find a pair because there is an uneven number of players. Players are scoped when they find out that they will play marble games against their pair. The person who loses dies. Sang-woo tricks Ollie. Ji-yeon loses on purpose for Seo-byuk, and Il-nam does the same for Gi-hun. The 7th episode opens up with Ollie's dead body. The staff put him in a coffin and carry him out. Exhausted players are returning to their room. Deok-soo is surprised when he sees Mineo lying in her bed without a care in the world. Mockingly, she tells him that staff brought her here because she didn't have a partner. She is still holding a grudge against Deok-soo because of his betrayal. At that time, the frontman is talking with VIPs over his phone. After he finishes the call, he knows that someone is here with him because a telephone handset was placed in the opposite direction. He gets a gun, and he starts looking for an intruder. The frontman informs the intruder that he knows that he is a policeman. His bullets are from Smith & Wesson that the police uses. The frontman is looking around. He gets close to Jun-ho, who is hiding in the information room. The frontman gets a call from the staff. They found a staff member that Jun-ho threw into the sea. The frontman leaves, not knowing that Jun-ho was in that room hiding all along. Players are trying to eat, but almost everyone lost their appetite because of the last game. 17 of them are left. They are devastated by the loss of persons they held once dear. Sang-woo shows his cold side, and he tells Gi-hun that he doesn't have to yearn so much for Il-nam because he knew him for just a few days. Sang-woo then shows him a player that was in the tournament with his wife, and he picked her as a pair in the last game. And he tells Gi-hun to imagine how he feels. That man who lost his wife starts yelling in despair that he wants to abort the game. He begs for players to vote on aborting the whole thing, but no one pays attention to him. Only Sang-woo approaches him and tells him that he need to stop. He comes this far for the money, and his wife is dead because of that very same money. Gi-hun realizes how Sang-woo is desperate for money, and he fears that he will do anything to get it. After all, he did Ollie dirty, and he is not showing any regret. That night, the frontman finds Jun-ho police badge and ID inside of a pocket of dead staff. Then he gets a call that VIPs are here. He goes to see his boss, the organizer of everything, to tell him that. But the boss doesn't want to meet VIPs, and he gives him a task to do that. The VIPs are rich people from around the world. Every one of them is wearing an animal mask. They were watching games remotely, placing bets on players. Now they are here to watch everything in real life. The frontman meets them. The VIPs act like they own the world, and by the frontman's voice, we can hear that he doesn't like them at all. The frontman leads them to a kitchen room where they will watch the next game. The player who lost his wife decides to hang himself because he can't live without her. VIPs and the frontman are watching everything, and one VIP is enraged because he placed a bet on him. Jun-ho knocks out one staff member who works as a waiter and takes his mask and clothes. He starts recording on his phone, and he hides it under the leaf. He goes to the room where VIPs will watch the show, and they are betting in millions. The frontman then shows VIPs a model of a game and leaves them in suspense. Players wake up, and they see the staff members coming in with a coffin. Gi-hun is confused at first, but then he sees the poor player who hanged himself. There are 16 of them left now. The next game is announced. They enter a room and see mannequins with numbers on them. The announcer tells them to pick a number. The majority of players pick the numbers in the middle, leaving Seo-byuk, Gi-hun, Sang-woo, and few others in dilemma which numbers to choose. VIPs and the frontman agrees to help them, and he informs them that numbers mean the order they will play the next game. Everyone picks the number in the back, leaving Gi-hun with a choice to go first or last. He goes for the number 1, but he starts overthinking that maybe he will be first eliminated. But if he picks the last one, maybe he will run out of time. Another player approaches Gi-hun. He asks Gi-hun to give him number 1 because he never had courage in his life, and he was always the one man at the back, but now he wants to change that. Gi-hun gives him number 1, and he picks number 16. Everyone is ready for the next game. The announcer tells them the rules. They need to cross a bridge with 2 rows of glass panels. Panels are made out of 2 kinds of glass. Out of the normal glass that will break if someone jumps on it, and tempered glass that is safe. Whoever falls will die because of the great height they are on. The glass panels are randomly placed, and players need to guess and jump on them to get to the other end before time runs out. VIPs are watching everything. The first player guesses the first panel right, but he immediately falls to death when he jumps on the second one. The other players are going after him, and every one of them falls after 2 or 3 steps. One player starts to pray, and another frustrated player tries to push him, but he falls on the glass in front of them and breaks it. The man who prayed thinks that God saved him, but another man pushes him. That man soon falls too, and it leaves scared Deok-soo in front of everyone. Gi-hun needs to move when he forgets on which of the first panels he can step on. Sabyok helps him by telling him it's a left one. One of the VIPs is visibly attracted to Jun-ho. He orders Jun-ho to take his mask off, but Jun-ho says that he can do that only if they are somewhere private. Vip takes Jun-ho to his room. He thinks that Jun-ho will please him sexually, but Jun-ho takes his gun out. He orders the VIP to tell everything about the games while he is filming with his phone. Deok-soo isn't brave enough to go forward, and he yells that he won't move and that others will have to go in front of him. The man behind him tries to push him, but Deok-soo throws him away. Mineo gets on Deok-soo's panel, and she wraps her hands around him. He is visibly scared when Mineo starts talking about his betrayal, and then she leans her body downward, pulling Deok-soo with her to their deaths. The man behind her once worked with glass. He manages to figure out the difference between panels thanks to the light, but frontman turns off the lights. The one pair of panels are left, and the man is trying to figure out on which one to step. Time is running out, and players are becoming impatient. Suddenly, Sang-woo pushes the man on the panel in front of him. It breaks, and the man falls to death. Gi-hun is shocked. Sang-woo, Sabyok, and Gi-hun manage to jump over to the end just a second before time runs out. Glass shatters, and it cut their faces. The 3 of them are winners. The frontman asks the staff member to go and check VIP's room. The staff member tells him that waiter is missing and that VIP is naked and unconscious. The other staff member informs him that one of the oxygen tanks is missing, and the frontman goes searching for Jun-ho. Gi-hun, Sabyok, and Sang-woo return to their room. Gi-hun tells Sang-woo that he is consumed by greed and that he killed the man. Sang-woo tells him that he is naive and stupid and that they wouldn't pass the game if he didn't push the man. Then the staff members walk in. They congratulate players saying that now they are finalists. They inform that they will have dinner tonight as a reward for going this far, and they give player boxes with smoking inside. Sabyok goes to change in the bathroom, and then we see that she is heavily wounded. A huge piece of glass is stuck in her stomach. She manages to pull it out, and she wraps her shirt around the wound. Then she goes to eat with others. The table is in the shape of a triangle. Gi-hun and Sang-woo are hungry, but Sabyok barely eats because of her wound. Staff members clean up, and they leave the knives, implying that killing is still allowed. Jun-ho is running away from the frontman and the staff. He hides and calls the police, asking for backup, but the signal is too weak. Then he sends photos and videos he took while he was undercover. Soon the one staff member sees him, and he gets cornered by them. The frontman tells Jun-ho to lower his gun because he knows that he has only 1 bullet left. But Jun-ho shoots the frontman when he gets closer. The frontman then takes his mask off, revealing that he is Jun-ho's brother Hwang-in-ho, and he shoots Jun-ho. Jun-ho falls into the sea. That night, Gi-hun approaches Sabyok intending to talk. 2 of them are talking about the reasons why they are here, and Gi-hun feels so sorry for Sabyok. He tells her that they will split the money and that they will have enough. Sabyok wants to build a house for her mother and little brother. Gi-hun tells Sabyok about his sick mother and his daughter. Then Sabyok proposes a deal. If one of them doesn't come back, the other one will take care of their family. Gi-hun tells her that she doesn't talk like that because both of them will survive. He sees that Sang-woo is sleeping. He is ready to get up and kill him, but Sabyok stops him, and she tells him that he is better than that. Sabyok loses her conscience and Gi-hun sees her injury. The blood is everywhere. He tries to help her and save her, but when he sees that it's no use, He goes to the door and starts bashing. The staff walks in, but they are carrying a coffin. Gi-hun turns around and sees Sang-woo with the knife in his hand. He stabbed So-byuk in the neck. Full of rage, Gi-hun hurls at Sang-woo to kill him, but the staff member knocks him to the ground. The staff takes So-byuk's coffin, and they burn it. The two finalists, Gi-hun and Sang-woo, then proceed to play the final game. The superior staff member tells them that in the last game they will play as offense and defense. The finalists call the coin sides, and Gi-hun wins. Fueled by anger, he chooses to play as an offense. The staff takes them to the field where the first game was played, and we see that VIPs and the frontman are watching everything. The frontman tells VIPs that the last game is called the Squid game. The player who is on offense needs to get inside of the squid drawing by a specific pattern. The player in defense needs to defend it. If the player in offense touches the squid's head, he wins. The frontman tells them that everything is fair in this game and that players can use anything to win. Gi-hun gets ready to attack, while Sang-woo is waiting with the knife. However, Gi-hun surprises him by throwing dirt in his eyes. Gi-hun then casually walks over the squid's neck. The rain starts falling. Sang-woo starts to play with words, saying that he killed So-byuk to end her suffering. He says that she was heavily wounded, and he helped by killing her. Gi-hun tells him he knows that Sang-woo is lying and that he killed poor So-byuk because he is consumed by greed. Money is the only thing in his mind. Sang-woo then tells him the truth. He killed a So-byuk as a precaution because she and Gi-hun would probably vote to abort the games. Gi-hun tells Sang-woo how So-byuk stopped him when he wanted to kill him. Gi-hun attacks Sang-woo, and after some fighting with their knife, they manage to unarm each other. They continue their clash with their bare hands. Gi-hun tries to strangle Sang-woo with a suit, but he fails. They continue to fight until Sang-woo takes the knife from the ground and stabs Gi-hun in the back of his thigh. Sang-woo is ready to finish off his friend. He attacks him with the knife, but Gi-hun blocks the attack with his hand, and the knife goes straight through his palm. Then he bites Sang-woo's leg. Soon, Gi-hun turns the whole fight around as now he is standing above Sang-woo. He takes the knife, but he stabs it in the ground next to Sang-woo's head. VIPs declare Gi-hun as a winner, and the frontman orders the staff member to execute Sang-woo. To everyone's surprise, Gi-hun stops staff members, and he asks if the games could be aborted if he and Sang-woo agree. The staff member calls the frontman to check. Sang-woo and Gi-hun have some sentimental talk before Sang-woo takes the knife and shoves it in his neck. He mumbles something about his mother and dies in Gi-hun's arms, who still loved him after everything. Gi-hun is crying while holding him in his arms. Gi-hun is the winner of the tournament. His prize is 45.6 billion won, which is around $38 million. Later we see Gi-hun in a limousine. His eyes and hands are tied. The frontman in Ho is with him. He gives a little speech to Gi-hun, and he congrats him for winning. Gi-hun gets sedated. The limo stops, and someone throws him out on the street. Then a man unties him. Gi-hun removes the blindfold, and he takes a credit card out of his mouth. Immediately he goes to ATM, and he withdraws 10,000 won, only to see that he has 45,599,990,000 won left. He is not happy about that, because he knows that this is the blood money, and people gave their lives for it. Gi-hun heads back home to see his mother. While passing through the street market, Sang-woo's mother sees him. She asks him some questions, but he doesn't pay attention to them, and he just gives her 10,000 won. Gi-hun arrives at his house. He finds his mother lying on a bed, but when he tries to wake her up, she doesn't move at all. She died while he was away. He lays beside her and cries. He joined the tournament because of her, but he failed to save her. 1 year has passed, and Gi-hun looks miserable. He hasn't touched the money since winning it. His hair and beard are grown out. He is sitting on the beach drinking when a woman approaches him and asks him to buy a flower. He buys the flower only to find an envelope with a golden card in it. The card has the same symbols as the business card that Mysterious gave him. There is an address on the back of it, and Gi-hun goes to check it out. He follows the address and gets to a room. In there, he finds a man lying on a bed. Gi-hun is shocked when he sees that the man is Il-nam. He starts asking Il-nam questions about games, but Il-nam proposes him to play one last game. If Gi-hun wins, Il-nam will tell him everything. Il-nam points on a drunk man on the street. He tells Gi-hun if someone helps the drunk man, he will tell him everything. They are watching in silence, but Gi-hun asks Il-nam once again to tell him everything, and Il-nam listens to him. He tells Gi-hun that the games were his idea. He is a rich man, and he enjoyed his life. However, after some time, his life became boring. He started to organize games. His rich friend was always watching the games, betting on the players. When Gi-hun asks him why he was participating in the games, Il-nam says that he relives his childhood memories. We see that one person is standing beside the drunk man outside, but it moves on. Il-nam says that he doesn't regret his actions. Players return because they wanted money. He didn't force them. Gi-hun sees the police car stopping in front of the drunk man, and the person from earlier gets out of the car with the policeman. The drunk man is saved. Gi-hun wins the game, but Il-nam dies. Gi-hun leaves the apartment. In-ho walks in, and he closes Il-nam's eyes. Gi-hun is leaving the barbershop with his new bright red hairstyle. He goes to the orphanage to find So-byok's brother, and he brings him to Sang-woo's mother. She agrees to take care of him. Gi-hun gives her a case with a boy's clothes and leaves. Then we see Gi-hun on his way to the airport because he is flying to the USA to visit his daughter. There he sees a mysterious man who gave him a business card. He is exchanging slaps and smacking envelopes with one man. Gi-hun hurries to catch the man but misses him. The man boards a train and escapes. Gi-hun snatches a business card from the victim of the mysterious man and tells him to forget about it. Later, Gi-hun gets to the airport. There he calls In-ho and promises that he will pay for making games. Instead of boarding the plane, Gi-hun turns and walks away, determined to fight back and put an end to the deadly tournament. And that is it for today. If you enjoyed it and interested to see more movie recaps, like the video and hit the subscribe button.